Looking at this very impressive picture of the launch of Chandrayaan-1 on the 22nd of October 2008. Let us continue with the lesson, observing space telescopes. Another type of telescope called the radio telescope. Now, most heavenly bodies, they emit or they give out radio waves which we cannot see. We can only see visible radiation. Therefore, a special type of telescope is used to receive these rays called the radio telescope. Now, this telescope is made from one or more dishes having a parabolic shape. Now, this shape, you have seen this shape in your dishes of the Videocon or, for your viewing your TV at home. So, that shape is called a parabolic shape. Now, similar to the optical telescope, the rays or the incident rays, the rays which come onto this parabolic shape, they are reflected by these dishes and they converge or they come together at a certain point called a focus. A radio receiver, marked here as the antenna, what this point here is called the radio receiver, is placed here, where here meaning the point where all the waves, the radio waves, they reflect and they converge or they come together at a point. So there at that point, the radio receiver is placed, and then all the information that is collected by this receiver is sent to the amplifier and the computer. The computer analyzes it and then gives us an image of these radio waves. GMRT or Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope. Giant. Now this is a large radio telescope. It uses radio waves having wavelengths about 1 meter. Big wavelengths can be got by this large radio telescope. Now it is erected at Narayangaon, Pune. Now this is a giant telescope, not a single one. It is a collection of 30 different parabolic dishes of 45-meter diameter. All of them together are of 45-meter diameter, arranged over an area of 25 kilometers. So this is how it looks like. Huge dishes, radio telescopes over a distance of 25 kilometers, and all of them together, they function as one single dish. GMRT has been made by Indian scientists and engineers at minimum cost. So this is another big thing. Before we used to take everything from outside India, buy the things to make anything in our space research from places abroad. Scientists from abroad used to come and help us out. But this has been an initiative which Indian scientists and engineers have worked together, try to minimize the cost and do something so great. Okay. Then scientists from all over the world study the solar system, solar winds, pulsars, supernova, interstellar hydrogen clouds, etc. with the help of the GMRT. So now we have this huge structure, and scientists from all over the world, they come to study it in India. Now, this I'm sure you have recognized is the solar system. Then we have the pulsar. Pulsar is something that, heavenly body rotating at high speed in space. Then we have the supernova. Now, you can see stars all over. Yeah, these are all stars. Now the center is the supernova, is when the star has reached the end of the life cycle and then it has blast or burst in the sky, what we look at in the sky, and that is called a supernova. A very, very nice thing to see. And then if you can see a cloud-like structures, yeah, in between the stars, yeah, those are called interstellar hydrogen clouds, and all these can be noticed by the Giant Meter Wave Telescope. So, telescopes which are planted in space. Now all these we talked about are on Earth, but we also have telescopes in space. Now optical and radio telescopes on Earth, they have some difficulties. Yeah, let us see what. Light from heavenly bodies, light from the stars and from other heavenly bodies pass through the Earth's atmosphere to reach the Earth. Okay, we live on the Earth's surface. All the Earth's surface is covered by the Earth's atmosphere, and these stars or other heavenly bodies send their light in space. When they reach the Earth's atmosphere, they have to pass through that atmosphere to reach the Earth's surface, and in doing so, some of the light gets, the brightness of the light decreases. So light decreases in intensity. Then there are also continuous changes in atmospheric pressure and temperature which cause turbulence. It's not smooth. Continuous changes, winds, and hot air, high pressure. Okay, and that leads to the light coming from the heavenly bodies shaking a little bit, and therefore when we are looking through the telescope we get a shaky image, not a clear image. Then during the nights, the city lights and the cloudy weather makes it very difficult to observe heavenly bodies. The bright neon lights, street lights, etc., they interfere with the light of the heavenly bodies, and we are not able to see the heavenly bodies through the telescopes very well. Okay. Moreover, there are clouds, and during the day there is sunlight. The sunlight blanks out the stars and any other heavenly body, so we are not able to see even during the day due to the sunlight. Now, to reduce these problems, optical telescopes are situated at the tops of mountains, high areas, so that all these lights and all these other things will not affect the image, what we are seeing through the telescope. And where they are put in uninhabited, where people don't live. Uninhabited means where no one is living. In these places, these optical telescopes are situated. Okay, to reduce the problem of passing through the Earth's atmosphere and decreasing, changes in the atmospheric pressure, night light, sunlight, etc. But there's a way to get rid of the problems. And to get rid of the problems, these telescopes should be placed directly into space. And the scientists today have made this possibility into a reality. So when they send artificial satellites into space, those artificial satellites, they all contain, or they carry with them certain telescopes which are used directly to study space without all these problems. ISRO, or Indian Space Research Organization. It was established in 1969 for making and launching artificial satellites. Now, successfully they have launched satellites, and today India can be called a leader in space programs. INSAT and GSAT artificial satellite series, which support television, telecommunication and meteorological services, are already launched. Okay, telecommunication means your internet, Wi-Fi that we so nicely use, and we are able to communicate so easily with the live programs coming on television, your weather report, that is how hot or cold it is going to be, whether it's going to rain, some warnings of some dangers that are coming. All these services are provided to us with the help of INSAT and GSAT. Then there is another one which is EduSat, artificial satellite launched by Indian Space Research Organization, which is used for education, and IRS, which is used for monitoring natural resources and for disaster management. ISRO launched AstroSat, this artificial satellite, in 2015, very recently. Now this satellite has UV and X-ray telescopes and detectors. If you look clearly, very carefully, you'll be able to see certain telescopes, devices where we will be able to look and observe space. So they are the UV and X-ray telescopes and detectors. And again, very proudly we can say that most of the parts are made in India. It is a unique system, very different, because it has different kinds of telescopes on a single satellite. I've already been told that there were UV and X-ray telescopes, and Indian scientists study different aspects of the universe using the data which is obtained or got by AstroSat. In here we can see Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, or Missile Man, holding, he was the project director of India's first satellite launch vehicle, and mainly during so much of his efforts that today we are a leader in space research. And today's leader, K. Shivan, you must have seen him during the recent launching that was televised. Okay, Kalpana Chawla, Indian astronaut, Rakesh Sharma, okay, EduSat, the education artificial satellite launched by India, and GSLV, that is the launching vehicle used to launch satellites into space.